Great. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the April 21st Budget Committee meeting. I'd like to call the meeting to order, and we'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right. Well, thanks for everybody watching live tonight. We're going to start tonight with public input. Seeing no one here in the room, I'm going to close public input, and we will have a second public input session before we adjourn this evening. I'll open it up to the committee. Any review or additions to the agenda? For which part?
We introduce chair, vice chair.
Oh, yeah, we can. We don't have to. We can.
I haven't traditionally. Usually
Yeah.
do. Oh, really? No. I'm thinking planning board. Sorry.
Yeah, it's okay. We do have 8 of us here this evening. Our school board rep, Ms. Hirschberger, is in another meeting at the moment, but she'll be joining us soon.
I don't know if it's going to fall under other business or to be added to the agenda, but I was wondering if we can have a conversation in regards to warrant articles from the town that you can vote on, can't vote on, just for clarification on it.
So do you want to do that under town business?
It doesn't really matter. I mean, I don't know where it's going to fall. You're looking for any additions to the agenda. I just want to have
Okay.
that conversation.
Okay. Okay, it's been added. Anything else to add to the agenda this evening? All right, moving on to correspondence. I have a very short correspondence from the last month, and I'll share those here. On March 24th, Mr. Sun shared the minutes from February 5th and a revised calendar that reflected tonight's new April date. On March 29th, Mr. Sun shared the minutes from the March 24th meeting with the committee. On April 1st, the committee received the town weekly budget report. The town also received the committee also received the town weekly budget report on April 8th and April 15th. And then today, on April 21st, Ms. Hirschberger shared the school year-to-date expenditures and BA report with the committee. We'll move on to our next item, review and acceptance of minutes. Has everyone had an opportunity to review the minutes from February 5th and March 24th? Good with those. So I'll entertain a motion for approval of the February 5th minutes.
So moved.
I have a motion by Ms. Douglas.
Second.
Second by, I'm drawing a total, Ms. Stevens. Open it up for, we'll do all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Abstain.
Abstain. Okay.
I abstain.
Passes 6-0-2. All right. And then for the March 24th minutes, do I have a motion for approval?
So moved.
So moved by Ms. Douglas.
Second.
Second by Mr. Barca. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstain?
That is so much quicker than a roll call vote.
8-0-0. It is so much quicker when everybody's doing it. Moves so much faster.
It's just so weird after 2 years. I like it.
I could go home if you want.
No.
All right, we are going to move on to town business. Mr. Leary, we'll turn it over to you for general updates from the town.
There's really not, I mean, there's a couple of things going on, but it's not to be discussed. And other than that, we're still just trying to decide what to do with the ARPA funds. We have a lot of suggestions. Some of them good, some not so good. Discussing that with Mr. Bork on the way in. Other than that, Memorial Day's coming up. We got a big ceremony at the Old Town Hall. We're going to do the Purple Heart dedication for the town. And that's going to be really nice. And hopefully we'll get the front of the building painted by then. But other than that, that's about it.
Guy working on that, he's doing a pretty good job, right?
Yeah, he's a slacker.
He was tied up by the parking lot being redone, right? So he gets a little bit of time.
Yeah, Mr. Chapman did a really nice job.
He did. Yeah, it does look really nice.
Really, really good.
Great. Questions for Mr. Leary? I'll let Mr. Board.
Well, it's actually not from Mr. Leary, it's actually for the board.
Okay.
And because it was discussed at the last selectman meeting that they seem to feel strongly that the weight of, or the vote from this board dictates a lot of what the public, how they'll vote.
Mhm.
So I wonder if you can't vote in favor of an article, why vote? And with the same question, if you feel strongly, and I don't want to have a debate about the fire truck or not, if you feel that strongly that the item should be supported by this committee, why not vote for it?
Well,
They can't vote for something that
Well, you can.
exceeds no,
They
they
can.
can't. They can't
They
support
can.
something, no.
You
can't
just,
keep
yeah,
that-
you just have to go back to the budget and eliminate that amount of money out of the
Right.
budget.
Correct. It would, yeah, because that vote would have put it over the tax cap.
Correct.
So in theory, the committee could have voted and approved the warrant article, but gone back and reduced that amount from the town budget.
That one item exceeded all the other warrants put together.
Mhm.
So it would have
I know, but it sounds like this board felt
Yeah.
strongly the need for the
favor
fire
of
truck.
it, yeah.
Yeah. So why not vote for it?
Well, I can only speak from my perspective that I actually felt that the budget was reasonable and that I would have voted for the fire truck. So I don't know that I could have found $175,000 that I would have been comfortable reducing so that I could vote yes. So I mean, if the concern is that we're constrained by it, then if you'd like to put forward a petition article to rescind the tax cap, I'm sure some people will be willing. And the Board of Selectmen might change their position on having pushed it in the first place. But to me, I think it's conflating two issues. I want to support the fire truck, but not necessarily at the expense of funding some of the things I think that the town needs. And in order to do that, you're asking me to say, yes, you support this, but cut money you don't think should be cut anyway. That's the only way I could have voted yes for a fire truck, is by supporting reductions that I don't necessarily support. And the other option is to have a vote at deliberative, have the body override the tax cap, but we still can't necessarily approve it as a committee based on how the law is written.
Yeah, I don't know if the public can override. the tax.
There's a mechanism to override it, but I don't think that the committee can still recommend it. There's a loophole in there, because that was when it came up. There's a way to override it at deliberative, but I don't think it changes what we can vote on.
Then have we ever asked legal if you can write something different on the article that the budget committee could not recommend, but would have recommended with a vote?
Some of that language was in the paragraph that said, the majority of the budget committee members.
But that's not on the ballot itself.
Mm.
So I think what Mr. Burke is instead of saying not recommended by a vote of 4 to 3,
Not recommended,
not recommended because we simply can't.
or just say cannot recommend.
Yeah,
Cannot recommend due
cannot
to
be
tax cap.
recommended due to tax cap limitations.
Or the other option, like I said, is to vote for it and then look for cuts in the rest of the budget.
But that really should have been the town's responsibility. Should have been, if they felt that was a warrant article that they wanted the budget committee to support, they should have known and presented a budget that would have allowed us to support that particular warrant article
Okay.
and
Well-
kept it under the tax cap.
And
Our
that-
job is to stay under the tax cap.
Right. And I look at it as the selectmen brought that warrant article to the budget committee because they wanted that warrant article. So if you're going to support the warrant article, then they know you.
But if
the
you
only way to
want
su-
it, then why don't you follow the rules and then at that point make sure that it's something
Because
that
that's our
somebody could vote
responsibility.
on?
It's our responsibility as a budget committee to make certain it falls under the tax cap, correct?
Yeah, we have,
Because the selectmen can give you a budget of
right,
$10 million
Sure.
next year.
right.
So then
Well,
it'd be-
well, we can vote for no warrant article.
So
I mean,
I
it's the town's responsibility to put forth a budget and warrant articles that at least have the possibility.
But I think,
Once you throw something that I can't vote for it because it's over the tax cap, as I mentioned when the warrant article first got brought here, I felt that was irresponsible by the town. That then at that point, you know what, if it's that important to you, you should have made it feasible.
I understand, but they brought it both forward.
Yep.
So why not vote accordingly?
So I think
That's
two questions, and I think we just ask Miss that we put the question towards our legal NHMA representatives. Is there additional wording that can be accommodated? But I think also, to your point of making it affordable, my understanding is that there are grants available. Perhaps there are funding sources that could have and should have been explored.
Again, I know I'm using.
But that would have allowed us to be under the.
I know I'm using the fire truck, but I'm just saying anything in general, because I remember this happening one year, and we sat in that room for like $60,000.
Yes, we did.
Trim 60,000.
Yes, we did.
Where I think if it happened today, we just say it's a bottom line budget and taking 60,000 at the bottom. The
Actually,
town
I
can
think
figure it out.
the police department came back with a reduction to their health insurance that year to help offset that. But these are the rules that have been established since we adopted the tax cap. So I agree that perhaps it's a little taking a sledgehammer instead of a scalpel, but we need to we could see what our options are and then go from there. Because if we can't change the wording, then that changes how we approach it.
Then if you can't vote to support something, then why do we vote? That's my other part of the question. Why vote? So if you know that there's 175,000 you would have to take out of the budget and you're comfortable with the budget, then it shouldn't even deserve a vote.
But we could have been out there with signs. We could have been at the dump. We could have been knocking on doors. We could have had a strong ground campaign in favor of it, and we didn't do that. So really, to me, it puts the onus back on the Board of Selectmen and the Budget Committee, if necessary, to really advocate. If you truly believe in this, make the case. Explain it. Do you know how many people show up on voting day and have never read the ballot?
Right, but I'm not arguing that point. I'm just the point that this board votes somewhat in favor of an item where you came and vote on it. So why take a vote?
So put a petition to raise the tax cap so that you have room. But that's the rule.
How about eliminate the tax cap?
You get your 25 signatures. You can ask the Board of Selectmen to bring it forward. Play by the rules. If you don't like the rules, change the rules. But until then, we have to play by them.
Well, then my last point is it's the selectmen who came up the tax cap, who wanted the tax cap.
Mhm.
So for them to turn and say it's because of the budget committee it didn't pass, I don't think that's totally true.
I don't think it was. I think the comment.
I wouldn't blame the budget committee.
No, but I think the
No,
comment.
but what they're saying, Bob, at the meeting, right, is that
You could
citizens put a lot of weight into like
Correct.
budget committee
Recommended, not
recommends.
recommended. Yeah. That's what people look at. And I had several people tell me that too, that's what they look at. I would agree with that sentiment.
It's kind of scary that,
And in,
9 of us?
in this particular case, whereas
Got
we're
that
talking
power.
about the fire engine, it was kept off of the warrants the last couple of years. And then, although we didn't really support the purchase as a whole, we supported putting it before the voters and letting the voters have the say, even though some of us did not support it. Okay, so we decided to let the taxpayers have the final say on it, and that's.
But I mean, the selectmen can do that every year. That's the thing. I mean, they come up with different things we can't vote on. And that's what I'm saying. Why vote on them?
I was just reading the RSA because I was curious. The budget committee is required to vote on special warrant articles. We're only required to vote on articles containing appropriations if the town has previously voted to approve RSA 32.5 or RSA 40.13.
I believe we have. So
have
because
to
it
find out if we've
raises
approved
money,
those or not.
we
Yeah.
have to
Because
vote
it's
on
a
it.
raise and appropriate, we're required to have some sort of a formal vote on it.
If we've passed those RSAs, we'd have to find out from legal if we've passed those RSAs or not.
It could also be a case where, like, I'll use the selectmen as an example of the town, where something comes before the budget committee on a warrant that 7-8 people here might think is frivolous. Why do you need it? So in that case, they would probably vote against it.
The
So
reality,
they have to have that ability to be able to say no.
I mean, I think from one perspective, we should be thankful that they didn't try to play games or make it gimmicky. They could have postponed the vote, the payment by a year, and it could have been zero appropriations. Then all of a sudden, people find out, wait, we have a fire truck
And
or $1 this year, and then a full payment. So at least they didn't play games. They were straightforward and honest about.
And I think in fairness, they also could have rolled the dice and seen what came out with the ARPA funds, right? It was not, the picture wasn't perfectly clear at that point in time, whether they could have been used.
Right.
Could have rolled the dice and gone that route. And I believe it probably would have passed if it had said it would have had
Well, I
zero
think it
tax
definitely
income.
would have. But our biggest concern was we spend that money and then because the federal government flip-flopped on it.
Mhm.
And if they come back and they say no,
Right.
then guess what?
You're holding the
We
bag.
have to write a check for $670,000 to the federal government. And I don't think any one of you guys would send me a Christmas card if we had to do that.
Well, thank you for the spirited conversation there. Any other comment?
That's a
Okay.
very good point, though.
It is a good point.
I agree.
I'd be curious to see what legal
And I
says.
have made a note in regards with the follow up with legal on the point that you made. Our next item on anything else from Mr. Leary before we move on from town business.
Yeah, the only question I have is in regards to the budget or the budget that was given to us, the update on the 15th of April.
It was just on. lately.
Legal seems to be at about $25,000
Yes.
and pretty much tapped out. So was that predicted? Did something happen?
It was not predicted.
Okay.
My question is, how much higher is that number projected to go?
Hopefully it's done.
I did have just one quick question.
What?
What's going on with the $30,000 Traverse sitting on the parking lot here for the last couple of months?
Which one?
The white one.
Oh, that's the building inspector's vehicle, the new vehicle for
Do
the.
you have a
roads.
building inspector?
Yes.
Because I never see it gone.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I wonder if Jeff's still been using his. It's supposed to be getting decaled and all that stuff, but I don't. I could ask.
That's what I thought it was, but
And that's a retired police vehicle, right?
No,
No?
no, because
The
it,
new one.
You bought a new one?
yeah, the old one.
it has been moving. That's why I was wondering. And that's not good for a vehicle to just sit.
No, it's not. It's not.
All right. Our next item on the agenda was
You
school.
missed that?
One more
You
question.
missed that one?
Oh, go ahead.
I
Yeah,
didn't
go ahead.
realize it wasn't. I didn't realize it wasn't moving. Like,
Yeah, so on the
Whether it's
town
new?
side, when we look at gas.
I
It was in the
heard that.
budget. I thought it was in the budget, if I remember correctly.
I must. I think they were moving. I thought they were taking the old fire chief's vehicle or something, and I didn't realize it was a brand new one.
No, that's.
Yeah, well, that's what I thought too. My understanding, they were gonna,
They reappropriate or reposition the fleet. I didn't realize we were adding to it.
No, the old building inspector's vehicle was the old fire department vehicle.
Yeah.
But the chief's former vehicle that he just got rid of, that is dead. That's DOA. Wouldn't pass inspection. They have a thing about holes in the frame and stuff. I just don't like that. stuff.
Safety issues.
Yeah, safety.
you
Well,
want
if
to
it
be
doesn't
able to.
ever move, then I don't know.
Mr. Hayes.
Yes, question on, the gasoline and diesel fuel. Are we taking any steps to conserve? Is there a possibility of conserving? Since the prices, tend to go up? And is there technology that can help us conserve? I see a lot of police vehicles that sit in the parking lot and idle. Is there something that can take its place to generate power? To keep computers going and air conditioning going so the officers can be comfortable?
That's a good question.
And the answer is?
I didn't bring my crystal ball tonight. I wish I did.
Because I think we're going to exceed the budget for gasoline, even though
Just by the price increase.
I think we're at about 60% remaining right now. So
I remember somebody knocked it down to $2 a gallon last year.
I don't know who that was. I think that
I
was the
thought
year
we
before.
added to it.
That was the year
Last
before.
year we added to it because it was high, but we
We did.
didn't
We did
project.
come back. We came back.
I think we got it 1 year down to 36,000, then we
Yeah.
brought it up to 41. I think it's 54,000.
Yeah. So I think we projected it to be bad, but we didn't expect it to be this bad.
So I guess the follow-up question to Mr. Hayes is, are we passing on some of those additional costs to things like details, for example, where, a vehicle has to sit there and idle for 6-8 hours somewhere? Are we passing on the fact that we're taking on a higher cost in the gasoline?
There is a charge for details, yes.
Right, but I guess my question is, are we moving that detail price up
I would
to match
imagine
the
they
fact
are,
that
but
our cost is going
I
up?
will ask, but
Okay.
I would imagine we are, because I wouldn't think we'd be out there losing money.
As far as the vehicle is running, there's a reason why they do that.
I get it, but
Yeah.
so there's a reason why, but it's still money
I
getting
know,
burnt. So
right.
I'd like to see that the detail goes up. I mean, it's no different than anybody else. If
Yep. Increased
getting
cost.
getting groceries to Hannaford and cost more for diesel to get the truck there, trust me, they pass it on to us. So we need to be able to pass it on and not take a loss.
Take off fast or something.
I'm not sure if it's that or
I
just
think
the
it
fact
is
that
that.
everything else has to be running. Yeah. So,
I think it's in case a call comes in, they don't have to take the time to start their car and go.
I think it's more than that.
And probably if the lights are on too, they want to kill the battery probably. But
Probably have the computer
Makes
on
sense.
and everything
Mhm.
else.
But, if there's technology that can help,
Oh, yeah.
keep things charged and
Yeah.
ready to go. And you can get it, solar
Put a
power.
couple solar panels up on each roof.
Opens.
Anything else for Mr.
Everybody
Leary?
else segue. We all said.
All right. Our next item was school business. I'm going to skip over that for the moment as Ms. Hirschberger has yet to join us. Do want to take a moment and wish Mr. Cutter well as he's recovering. And Ms. Hirschberger will be with us hopefully later this evening and possibly for the next meeting or two. We're going to move into member input and new business. So the first item on this agenda is the budget calendar for 2022-2023. Everything is the same that was presented at the March meeting, obviously minus today's date, which was changed. Any changes, revisions, thoughts, comments? Mr. Leary, has the town had a chance to review this? Did this schedule look good to them, to your knowledge?
Yeah, I haven't heard anything
Okay.
to the contrary.
Small thing.
Looks good to everybody. I'm gonna then I'll recommend that this will become our calendar for the year. I'll share it I'll have Ms. Hirschberger share it on the school side. And then we'll make sure Troy and team has a copy of this as well. I don't really think we have to take a motion on this to vote on it, do we? All right, the next item on agenda is our bylaws. We did bring these up at our last meeting in March, and every year we are required to review our bylaws and see if we want to make any additions or changes to them. Did anybody have any proposed additions or changes to our budget committee bylaws? Last year, the only changes we made is that we did add an update on the communication archivist position, as well as an update around vacancies. So if there are no proposed changes, then we do need to vote to adopt these bylaws for this year. Mr. Borg, did you have? Oh, I thought you were going to ask something.
No,
Okay.
I'm just waiting.
Make a motion to
see if
approve the
somebody can change.
bylaws.
A motion by Ms. Douglas,
Second it.
second by Mr. Hayes. All those in favor to approve the bylaws for this year, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Abstain? All right, and that passes. And today's date is 4/21/22. 00. Perfect. All right. And our next item on the agenda under member input new business is the Capital Improvement Planning Committee update. I know there was a meeting that was held on April 4th. I know Ms. Douglas had an opportunity to attend that, so I asked her to
I
provide an
reworked my
update.
schedule and I made it. I didn't think I would, but I did. So, let's see, I'll go through their things. So they were reviewing their plan. They're going to reevaluate what the different departments are, especially given that we've been experiencing inflation. So the original threshold, I believe, was 10,000. So now more things may actually be, or 50,000, whatever the threshold was.
50,000.
There may be more things over it now. So they are going to take a look into that, reevaluate, see where they are. They're also discussion about reviewing the impact fee methodology, which I think is an excellent idea. So I'm hoping that they'll be talking about that at the next meeting that's coming up. The ARPA funds that we're discussing is hinging on the discussion within the departments themselves as to what their priorities are in those items. Discussion whether fire truck or whatnot. So the recommendations will come from the committee. There is a vacancy on the committee. They're talking about the Board of Selectmen putting out information to solicit interested parties. I know that we have a member here who was interested to serve as a citizen, so they're looking at that. And that was the majority of the discussion right there, is kicking off the new year, seeing where things are.
When's the next meeting?
You're also be meeting it more often, correct?
Yes, I was told once a quarter. Now it sounds like every month. So
So it's conveyed with me, it was every quarter, but yeah.
awesome. So the next meeting, yes, will be, so the plan now, I believe, is the first Monday of the month. It's like, okay, it's important stuff. We need to meet, so let's do it. But so that's where that is. So the next meeting will be first Monday in May.
Great. Seeing
First
that,
Monday, whatever the Monday is, the 2nd of May then.
second May. Seeing that
The
Ms.
first Monday.
Hirschberger has not been able to join us this evening, and hopefully everyone had an opportunity to review the BA report as well as the year-to-date expenditures.
Mhm.
I did have a conversation with Mr. Cutter a couple of weeks ago regarding updates from the school,
Mhm.
and the plan is for those to come on a regular basis. I believe the last Thursday, or the Thursday that the school board has the meeting, is those will be sent. So I think they came a little bit early this time, but the plan is for those to come on a regular cadence, that we'll get those moving forward, both the year-to-date expenses and the BA report.
Nice. I did have a question on one of the comments in it. It did say that they were hoping to use excess funds to clear the deficit in the capital projects funds, close out phase 1 and LMS canopy projects. So my first question is, are we over budget? Is that why there's a deficit, or is there a deficit for another reason?
Are you looking at the BA report?
Yeah.
On the LMS canopy?
It says phase 1 and LMS canopy. I'm not sure if those are two separate. It said projects. So I'm assuming more than one project. So I'd be curious as to, well, one, how large of a deficit are we talking here? And two, what is the driving force behind it?
The canopy was a separate, it was altogether separate, and it actually came in on the budget.
Okay, so then phase 1's over budget then? Because it says, indicates to me that we're over budget somewhere, that we're running a deficit. We're spending more than we expected. So I'd be curious to look a little bit of information on that. And then I have a question on the food service financial statement. The hope would be starting the school year with 100 to 150,000 in food service balance should help the district weather the transition back to paid program supplemented with local revenue. My understanding, it's supposed to be a self-sufficient fund. So will it be supplemented with local revenue, or is it going to be returning to self-funding?
So seeing as neither Mr. Cutter or Ms. Hirschberger are here, would you mind putting those questions in an email, and that way we can
I will try to remember.
send that to them and get responses prior to our next meeting? I just want to make sure we capture that.
Yep.
Thank you. All right. I did want to mention on the school side as well, myself and Mr. Bort being a part of the school facilities meeting group. In case you're not aware, those meetings are going to be held here and are going to be broadcast moving forward. The last one was in April, and moving forward, those will be as well. So I know part of the process with, I think, feedback from LMS and moving forward to GMS was as much transparency and communication as possible. And so that group's made the decision that they're going to have their meetings broadcast through LCTV and YouTube as well, which I think is great. All right, I'm going to open it up for public input again. Seeing no one at the door, we'll close public input and entertain a motion to adjourn.
So made.
So moved. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second. And all those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? That adjourns our April 21st meeting. Our next committee meeting is on Thursday, May 26th. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in tonight, and hope everybody has a wonderful spring break. Take care.